Good morning, class. Today we are going to discuss about your next topic, that is insectivorous plants and parasitic plants. In earlier lectures we have covered all the topics. These are your last topics which we are going to discuss in this lecture. What are insectivorous plants? With the name we can understand insectivorous plants. These plants grow in a soil which do not have sufficient nutrients. So, to get proper nutrition, these plants eat insects. They eat insects as their food. For example, pitcher plant and Venus fly trap plant. What happens is basically these plants are fully capable of preparing their food. They prepare their food by the process of photosynthesis, but they do not get enough nutrients from the soil, so these plants eat insect as their food and get their nutrients from them. For example, pitcher plant and Venus flytrap plant. What happens is basically whenever an insect sits on the Venus flytrap, it closes itself and that insect gets stuck into the hairs present in the Venus plant, and after some time it died, and from that decaying matter Venus flytrap plant gets its nutrient. Next one is parasitic plant. These are the plants which obtain their nutrition from other plants. For example, mistletoe and dodder plant. In this, one plant is host and other plant is called as parasite. For example, suppose this is a plant, this is a tree, right? This is other plant. This plant cannot make its own food. It is not capable of preparing its food. And this tree is capable of preparing its food. How do this plant will get its nutrition, or how do this plant will prepare its food? This plant will start living on this plant. So this plant will be called as parasite, which lives on other plants and get their nutrition from them. And this plant will be called as host, which will prepare its own food and provides nutrition to this plant. This is called parasitic plant. This plant is parasitic plant which lives on other plants for its food. It is fully dependent on this plant for its food. What will happen? It will live on this plant and gets its nutrition from them. For example, mistletoe. Mistletoe is a green parasite plant. It is fully capable of preparing its own food, but it gets its mineral and water from other plant. Also, for example, dodder. Dodder is a total parasite. It gets its food from the host plant, as the leaves of the dodder plant is brown. It does not contain chlorophyll. If it does not have chlorophyll, that means it is not fully capable of preparing its own food. So that's why this plant is called a total parasite. It will take all of its food from other plant. While in mistletoe, it was capable of preparing its food, but it was not capable of getting its own water and mineral. It was dependent on other plant for its water and mineral. So in this chapter, we have covered insectivorous and parasitic plants. What are insectivorous plants? Insectivorous plants are those plants which grow in a soil which is insufficient, which does not have proper nutrients. So to get their proper nutrients, these plants eat insects. For example, Venus flytrap and pitcher plant. What are parasitic plants? Parasitic plants are those plants which are fully dependent on other plants for their food, water and mineral. For example, mistletoe and dodder plant. Mistletoe is not a fully parasite. It gets its It can make its own food, but it cannot get its proper water and mineral. It is dependent on other plant for its water and mineral. While dodder is a total parasite, it is fully dependent on other plant for its food. We have completed our chapter, that is plants living and surviving, in which we have covered all the topics up to adaptation in plants to the some interesting plants, that are insectivorous plants and parasitic plants. This will be all for today. Thank you for listening.